Longtime MP Bob Wood has passed away. We received a note from Bob Wood's wife, Carol Wood, and I will read that now. Bob lived life large and on his own terms. Although he had 3 very distinct careers, there was so much more to Bob than his work life. A devoted husband, father, grandfather, he relished in gatherings with family and friends. Bob's impact on the community has been phenomenal, but what many people don't know is how much he has done for individuals, and usually under the radar. Whenever Bob would hear about someone in need, his first thought was, what can I do to help? There are countless examples of Bob's generosity and sincere desire to provide help to someone in need. I continue reading Carol Wood's comments, Bob's widow. He never expected anything back in return. When Bob was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2018, we had not even returned home yet when he said he wanted to reach out to Peter Hanley and appear on his show. It was so important to him to bring awareness to the disease and to help remove the stigma. He advocated right up until the end of his life, which was on Saturday evening. Bob's passing has left a hole in the hearts of family, friends, and beyond. As a family, we are truly grateful for the outpouring of love and support we are receiving from the community. The tributes are heartwarming, also a stark reminder of the magnificent man we have loved and lost. We'll now hear from Peter Hanley and Bob Wood himself, as this recording was from 2017. Longtime colleague Peter Hanley sent Cogeco News an email concerning Mr. Wood's passing. Quote, Woody's passing was a shock. He was a longtime friend and contributed greatly to his adopted home. We'll miss his energy, drive, and humor. Unquote. We flash back to 2017. Woody invited Peter Hanley into his home to speak on his political career and giving back to the city. Here's a look.
We're on the road, and we're on the road at Bob Wood's residence, and we're going to view his hallway of pictures here at Bob Wood's place.
Right on, Peter. We're going to show you around.
Here we are in your hallway, Bob, and
Yeah.
I've long admired all the pictures you've collected over the years.
And this is just one with, I think it was with Chrétien and Lynn. We were here, I guess.
You had a pretty good relationship with him.
I got a great relationship with him. And it used to it used to upset people, because I remember when Michelle was alive, we were at the Governor General's house one night, and all my buddies were sitting over there. They wouldn't give me a seat, right, to sit at the table, because they were all filled up. They didn't. So I sat. But Michelle and I sat by ourselves, and Chrétien and Lynn come by, and Chrétien, hey Bob, you got a seat for me there? I said, sure, come on over. So they go, okay, save me 2 chairs, I'll be right back. So I go over there, and of course all these other guys are there, yeah. And I'm sitting there with the Prime Minister. Have a nice day. Anyway, yeah, and he saved the base for me. I mean,
you went to him, right?
He called me, but he called me on it, and made sure I wasn't jerking him around, and yeah, because I remember going to him and telling him what I was doing, and I said, Herb Gray supports me. He said, Herb tell you that? I said, yeah. He said, hang on, I'll call him. So he picks up the phone and goes, hey, I'm having a meeting with...
That's why he's successful.
Yeah, well, you got to do that, because there's so many people that would try to... Yeah. And this down here is just meeting the Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. This was taken at North Bay when I guess Mike Harris and everybody... Remember, this is Jack Burrows.
Yeah.
And, Annie Lane, and we were all there. Yeah, when they were at Canadore, I believe.
Yes, they were. They were.
Back to present day, quite fittingly, these pictures taken today celebrating 100 years to the day that North Bay was granted its charter, and the base still here thanks to the late Bob Wood.
I was called on the weekend. I was informed that Woody had passed, and I really did have to take a moment. I had to take a moment to reflect on, I've known Woody for way too long, probably about 45 years, probably about 50 years, my goodness. And, Bob was so good to this community. He fought for this community. Our Air Force Base, if it wasn't for Bob, we probably wouldn't be welcoming him here today. He did such great work and did it humbly, quiet in the background. He was a friend to everyone, and to Carol and his entire family. our condolences and Godspeed, Bob.
Bob Wood is a real people person. He wanted to make sure people were taken care of. Whether it was when he was on the radio or as an MP, he wanted to make sure that individuals got the services they deserve from the federal government. And I think that's something that I've continued or tried to continue throughout my political career. And to me, that is what I remember of Bob Wood, is making sure that everyone goes ahead together and everyone gets the help that they need.
Is there anyone with a more recognizable laugh than him?
As to what,
Yes,
Peter?
yes.
I got a lot of gray.
I don't think anybody who hears his laugh wonders who it is. It's very unique. It's a burst of pleasure and joy that comes out when he laughs.
How much will he be missed by the city?
I think he's going to be missed by everyone, whether he was on city council, as MP, or just on the radio. He was a fixture in North Bay, and people will remember him with fond memories.
Well, I mean, for anybody having grown up in North Bay, you know, he was the voice of CFCH for so many years. I mean, obviously he was our MPP for a number of years too. And I shouldn't probably say this, but I went out with his daughter in high school. So.
And did he treat you well?
He's always treated me well, I have to say. Yeah, he always has. He's always, I've seen him quite a few times over the years, like even when he wasn't feeling the best. But yeah, he still always had a smile and a joke.
Wood's colleague Handley is quoted for saying, "A good sport is good for sport. Sport is always on the mind of Dave Saad." He ties in sport.
When Bob was, I'm pretty sure he was chairman of Parks and Recreation when he got elected. He was deputy mayor, but he didn't want to take the finance file. So he took. Anyways, back in the day, as Mr. Mancini put together what was then known as double rinks, and over a period of 3 or 4 years, he wanted to sell it. And there was a huge public campaign, and that campaign paralleled what the city has gone through for the last 12 years with the new facility. But 2 people picked up the torch and ran with it and raised, I forget the exact amount, may have been $100,000, and it was co-chaired with Romeo Veltri and Bob Wood. And using Bob as being on air and media, he hyped it up, the community got really into it, and the facility that's been used for decades, a lot of that credit goes to Bob and Romeo, who picked up the ball and ran with it to ensure that the facility stayed in North Bay.
And here's a photo of Bob at the Empire Living Center. And the person taking the photo is his widow, Carol, with my dog, Stanley. And I have been privileged to have developed a relationship with Bob and Carol. And they love Stanley just as much as I do.
And having been privileged to know Bob, I know he would enjoy this tribute ending on a humorous note. Rest in peace, Bob Wood.